Good day everyone, how are you? Now, good day. Now I promised Ben and a few other people that Michelle and I would do a sort of round table talk. But I tell you, it's hard, sat in your apartment trying to think of things to talk about. The mosques are calling. Now nobody's actually going to the mosque, they're just calling to remind people to pray, but they're not allowed to actually gather in the mosques. But we're still getting that sort of daily sort of mosque chanting coming, which is quite nice. Listen in the background. Not always quite nice, but here it's quite nice. I wish I had some water. There is one simit seed, one little sesame seed. If you don't mind, we're actually encouraged still to go out each day for a good walk and just keep your social distancing. So Michelle and I, every day we go for a walk, a good long brisk walk, sometimes brisker than others.
Sometimes brisker than others.
So we thought we'd, rather than just sit at a table chatting with you, we'd come out.
Sun's shining today, so it's much better. So.
Yeah, to be honest, the weather has been really bad this last few days. Like bitter cold, raining, strong winds.
Windy.
And it's still got the wind, but actually it's really nice today.
Sun's out.
So it's beautiful to,
smile.
yeah, it does. Makes such a difference when the sun comes out, everything, you know, to your spirit, don't you think? Now the mosque's getting a little loud, so I might just stop until we get under this bridge. What's going on here? Got a load of branches on the pathway. Not the brightest place to put all the branches, so we've got to walk in the middle of the road. So how have things been with you all? That's what it's been like. Oh, that's too windy. Has it stopped?
Maybe.
I think it stopped.
It's still windy though.
So yeah, we just thought, take you out. We're pretty much in lockdown in Turkey, apart from the fact you're encouraged still to get your exercise, and there's lots of people out on the street, but there's a lot of distancing. Nobody's really going up and shaking hands or getting close into each other's space. So it really isn't difficult to keep a good distance away from people, a safe distance. And to me, it's important to get out every day and exercise. I get very unhealthy if I don't get out and walk.
No, you get very unhappy if you don't get out and walk. You like to get out and do things.
Yeah, so mentally it's important, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's lots of people out walking, and they're all keeping a good distance away from each other. Sorry, I'm a bit...
It's a bit of a hill.
It's a bit of a hill coming up. Believe it or not, we're in pretty much the heart of Istanbul here.
This is usually chock-a-block full. It's getting more and more into the busy season, supposedly.
Yeah, this should be high season.
Yeah.
It's also quite a windy street, so I'm wondering if I'm going to get good sound here. We might wait until we get onto the smaller streets. Doesn't matter, whenever I turn this camera on, a bus or a lorry sort of cranks past me. It makes a lot of noise. So Ben, I hope you don't mind, rather than just the round table, I'd rather be out doing what I do best, which is walking and talking to camera. There's an enforcement, the wind's strong even in this high street. Let's come over here, get out of the way of the wind. There is an enforcement now if you're going into shops in Turkey, throughout Turkey. If you go into retail shops at all, you should wear a mask. So you'll see a lot more people on the streets with masks. I still think, and I don't want to get controversial, I don't even want to discuss it to be honest, but I still think you're better off breathing fresher air. And there is some information out there that's saying that wearing masks is a little bit of a virus incubation unit. You know, you've got that hot air around and you're constantly touching the mask. Now, you decide for yourself. We actually do have masks and we are using them out of respect for the rules here in Istanbul. We are using them in the shops, but I still think it's more dangerous. I do see a lot more examples of people playing with their faces and adjusting their masks after they've been touching door handles and change and money. And I do feel a little bit sorry for the youngsters that are having to work sort of 8-hour shifts in retail shops with a mask on the full time. But better than that, they've actually put up plastic screens in front of the cashiers or the tellers, so they're actually protected from people, because it's masks are, look, the jury's out. BBC yesterday said that they are dangerous to wear. The WHO is up and down like this and that. For myself, I think wearing a mask is potentially more dangerous than not wearing a mask. But I do think if you've got a cold and you're coughing and you don't wear a mask, then you should be locked up. So we've just come into a little shopping mall. We wanted to check something out. You see, we've got the masks on. Now, if you are wearing masks, by the way, here's my suggestion, because if you're out and you're handling money and your door handles and you're doing all sorts of things with your hands, which is where the virus generally is spreading from, and then you're touching your mask, as I do, particularly when you talk, it's slipping around. I know there are different masks out there, but the problem is, if you get the virus onto your mask and then you hang it up at home and you wear it again when you go out and wear it again, this is a hot, humid, moist environment where you can actually sort of breed a virus. So be cautious. What I think and what we've been doing is, if I wear this in the supermarket and I wear it in shopping malls like this, when we get home I actually put these into boiling water and clean them and dry them. Don't use these reusable masks out in the streets and then touch them and then wear them again the next day. Give them a clean, and better still, if you actually are in a place where you don't have to wear masks, take them off and get fresh air. It's much safer. So how are you all? What can we talk about, Michelle?
Well, it's not like
social distancing.
Yes, social distancing.
If I got it, she's got it. If she's got it, I've got it. What can we talk about? It's remarkable, really. I in some ways, I rather read your comments and see what you're up to. We're fine. I will do some more videos in the apartment, maybe make some bread over the next couple of days and share that. The reason mainly that I have not is because the weather's been really, really bleak, and it sort of makes you feel
it's quite dim and dingy, isn't it?
Dim and dingy. Yeah. Look, the Turkish ice cream guy is still working. It's hard for small businesses, isn't it? It's really tough. Just keeping my distance from everybody. It's tough for small businesses. I know it's going to be a big blow to a lot of the big corporations, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of big money changes going on during this crisis. But my concern really is all the smaller businesses, people that have, just set up maybe a new little restaurant, a new little shop, that are struggling, and they say that there's going to be lots of support from the government, but I suspect most of the money will be going elsewhere. Anyway, we'll get off this windy street and I'll talk some more. Would you believe it? It's literally an absolute motorway has just entered into our street. Not a car has gone down this street in the last 10 minutes. Look at these rotisserie chickens. Look at these beautiful Turkish breads. Many of the food places are still open for takeaway. Hello. It's a little strange. It's kind of hard being here in Turkey, a place that we were so looking forward to because of the food experiences we were going to get, and to see everywhere closed. But, it is what it is. And how long will we be here for?
Who knows?
Weeks, months? But I appreciate everyone around the world is in the same situation. So we always feel quite blessed, really, that we are here because it's such a beautiful place to be. And as the weather starts to improve, as the spring starts to come into season, the butcher's over there. I might just check out this butcher's. I'm not taking you in with me. I'll have to put my mask on, so we'll pop in there. Oh yeah, it's a nice butcher's, very limited. Not really. We haven't found ourselves a butcher's yet that supplies. I don't think we've had meat for about maybe a month.
I think so. We're missing our fish as well that we had when we first
We're missing,
arrived.
the fish. When we first arrived here, all on the streets all over the place, they're selling fresh fish and cooked fish. Mackerel particularly was delicious, and I'm really missing that. We're loving our sort of homemade soups and foods and things, but I'm missing some of the. We haven't quite found where to buy things, and because so many places are shut, it makes it even a little more complicated. For instance, butchers like that, you can really only go in one customer at a time. You've got to wear a mask. So you've got to almost know what you want before you go in there, because you can't just stand in there browsing if there's a queue behind you. So how about share some of your stories with us? Tell us what's going on. Mention where you're from, because I think people want to know if this or that's happening. You've got to know where it is. You all know Michelle and I are here in Istanbul. Ben, you asked me to do a little chat. Where are you at the moment? Back in the UK? It's hard being a foodie in Istanbul when there is such limited food. It's hard to say anything. It's hard because people are having such a tough time. You feel like you're being overly, I don't know, moaning if you say it's hard because there's no food. It's hardly hard, is it, compared to how some people are having to cope with all sorts of.
Look at that building there.
Look at this building. I don't know if you can see all the glass, and actually it's a walkway so people can walk through. Hello. Hello. We're blessed. I mean, look, there's a shop here selling gorgeous fresh vegetables. Straight opposite me here, there's a shop selling fresh vegetables. You've got to wear a mask to go in the shops now, but there are dozens of these shops all over the city, and they're all open. They're all family-owned businesses, and most of the locals are supporting these sort of stores. Look at the hills.
Just down a little hill.
I don't know if. Tell me, does this look like a steep hill? They're very steep. The hills here in Istanbul, up and down. Somebody said to me, is it the city of
So many hills.
so many hills?
Can't remember how many though.
Today it's more the city of the wind. I think actually we might get out of this wind, take you indoors and have a chat. Chin chin.
Chin chin. Good morning, afternoon, good evening.
So you got us at the round table, Ben. You got us at the round table. It was beautiful when we went out, but the wind has been so constant that it's quite chilly and it's hard to film out there. I can feel it blowing past them. I'll look later on. Michelle and I will check. We just come in. I've still got the red line around my head from my hat.
We went for our walk, didn't we? You've got to get out and have a walk.
Yeah, we walked probably about maybe 4 kilometres today.
Yeah.
And we do every day. We just try and keep away from people, and if we see a shop we want to go into, pop the mask on now, go inside, put a little bit of hand sanitizer on. A lot of the shops have hand sanitizer
Just outside, yeah.
just outside. Some of them actually will pour it in your hands. It's actually more like a cologne, isn't it?
Well, they use it is a cologne that they use. It's got obviously alcohol in it, but particularly in Turkey they use this lemon cologne. They ran out when they first started saying that you had to hand sanitize and things, but I think it's all okay now.
Yeah, originally the restaurants were actually they were providing it when you went into the restaurants. They'd wash your hands in the hand sanitizer, and of course now you're not allowed to eat in the restaurant, so that's all changed. But there's just taking precautions, trying to keep healthy, trying to get out every day. I hope you're all able to get your exercise. What else has been going on? I mean, not a great deal.
Not a lot.
Like the rest of you. Editing, replying to your comments, and just generally trying to fill the days, it's a little hard, as I said, on the street. I think that so much of what we want to explore in Istanbul is shut down. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait. I don't know how long this will be.
Just a waiting game.
What date is it today, Michelle? Tell the audience
see.
The
it's
date.
About the 10th, maybe?
Are we wrong again? Shall we check that?
Possibly. 8th.
So it's the 8th. Do we even know what day it is?
Wednesday.
The only day we really know is the Sunday, because it's the market day, and the market was open again this week. For those of you that want to know, I did film a bit in the market,
Just a little bit, I mean.
but whether I'll use it or not, there wasn't any really great footage, and it was a lot sparser, which was nice. So there was plenty of place to keep your distance, but we got some fantastic fruit again. Actually, let me just grab the mulberries. I'll get a close up in a moment, but look at that big punnet of mulberries. These are delicious, and we're having these with yogurt
And strawberries.
We got and honey.
And honey.
Good
oh,
honey.
Delicious honey.
We're struggling a bit to find a good meat supplier. So we the supermarkets here in Istanbul, for sure, don't sell a lot of good meat. Where we're from, the butchers have got nice displays of meats, all the prices up, and you can pretty much pick and choose. In our supermarkets, they've got like a tiny little chest freezer with a few bits of chicken and maybe some bits of strange looking meat, nothing particularly attractive looking.
It's not a particularly big supermarket, so maybe if we could have had access to a bigger one.
We went to the bigger one down the road, and that had no meat
that
either.
Didn't have it, no.
I think actually it's because the Turkish are like we used to be. They go to the butcher for their meat, so you can go into the butchers, but the butchers also are quite small. I think I filmed one today when we were out, so if I recall, I'll put that up, or you will have seen it already. And they're local butchers, so you know what you want. You go in and they say, "Hi, Steve. You want some beef, or you want some pork, or whatever." Probably not pork here. No, but they'll know what you want. So everything's not priced. It's not all sort of set up. It's not easy to use. And at the moment, because it's a sort of one person at a time with a face mask on, it's trickier. Yeah. You don't want to go into a butcher's and stand there at the counter going, what's this? What's that? You've got to know what you want, because there's people waiting to come in behind you. So we're struggling a bit with the meat, though we do have some little. Maybe someone can tell me the name in the comments. It's a little ravioli, little parcelled ravioli with some meat in. It's a Turkish version of a ravioli.
And they're delicious.
They're really nice, and we've been using that to finish off the last of our soup. So we're using the sauce from the soup to make this lovely little ravioli, and we've been doing other things. I will do some more little cooking idea videos. The reason I haven't done this last 5 or 6 days is mainly because it's just been that awful bleak winter.
Yeah, and it makes it quite dull inside the apartment, and then we haven't got good light for actually doing videos and things.
Yeah, you might have seen the light just drop then, actually. I can feel the clouds are coming in again, so I probably should have adjusted the brightness on the see that's brightening up again. So we're getting days when the apartment feels sort of drab, and I don't feel like filming because it's just not pleasant. You know what it's like, midwinter, real sort of Baltic cold wind as well in the air. What else? Walking every day. Doing our big hill. We've got a hill just near us which is really steep, and we go all the way down to the bottom of it. It's a good sort of maybe kilometre long hill. You go down to the bottom, and then we come up it as fast as we can, and generally it's exhausting.
We can actually get up now without stopping, can't we?
Yeah. Get all the way to the top, and then we get to our apartment. We've got to come up sort of 3 flights of steps.
That's a killer.
It's not 3 stories high, but it's a long and winding staircase.
It's a spiral one, so it's not easy.
So that's the last little bit. Getting our exercise. Is everybody getting exercise? I noticed our good buddy Rick from Rick Van Man's channel. Rick's getting out on his bike and doing exercise. A lot of people are telling me they're doing good walks. Getting out and cycling. So tell us, are you getting your exercise? And if you're not, please try and get some exercise. I think one of the things is some people are taking these lockdowns more literally than perhaps they have to, and it is important to keep social distancing, but you don't want to do it to the detriment of your own health. Mental health and physical health. So if you feel it's practical to go out and do walk, and you can avoid people, you're not going to be sort of running up and kissing everybody on the cheeks or shaking hands with every passing stranger. You really got to get out and exercise every day. Otherwise, this could go on for many more weeks. It might extend. And to be, we always say, with youngsters sat around in the house playing games all day, it's not healthy. With mature adults, it's even worse. Your health can deteriorate really quickly. So just get out and do some exercise. And also people, if you see people walking out more than you think they're allowed to walk out, don't start with your nonsense of telling people they shouldn't walk. If they're perfectly safe, they're not doing any harm, encourage people to get their exercise done. Beautiful, you can't see them, but the beautiful clouds out today, just big, those white fluffy clouds. See if I can get a little clip with my phone so I can show you.
It's because the sky's blue. It's always good when the sky's blue. It's been a bit grey and white this last week.
Yeah, so I'll do a little video clip just above there, and you can see what I mean. We're looking out at the buildings, beautiful white clouds just drifting past. That'll be enough.
We like this little alcove because it's got two windows looking out either side of the street, so you can look to see what's going on, because it's a very busy little street, isn't it?
It's a wonderful little street. There's just so much activity, so much community going on, and the apartment above us hasn't got this alcove. It's got we're flat above us, and they've got a balcony, and because the weather's so cold, look at my hands, I'm covered
the mulberries,
covered in mulberries because they're
it won't come off like that.
It is, because it's sticky.
Oh.
Because that's delicious. Because the weather's not that nice. No, they don't get to be out, but we get to be in this lovely alcove. It brings lots of sunlight into the room. Yeah, I love it. It's a great little apartment. And we see all our neighbours around us. There's a lot of sort of retired elderly couples living in apartments, and young couples. And you'll see, well, actually now there's a guy leaning out, probably placing an order, and you'll see a basket dropped out the window, and all the little shopkeepers, because there is one in every single little
I think so, yeah,
avenue and street. They drop the basket down, and they put the shopping in. They put the money in the basket, drop it down, put their shopping in, and the shopkeeper down below. Then they pull up their.
Even the one over here, they drop the rubbish down, don't they? Because over 65s and under 20s are actually on 24-hour lockdown, which is a shame.
Yeah, you'll see the basket going down with a little bit of rubbish, and the shopkeeper's like the keystone of the community. He's out and about all day long. He'll come along. They call him, hey George, and he'll come along, and probably more like Emre, and they drop the basket down. He take the rubbish out and pop it down where the rubbish collection is. These shopkeepers, they are, the real heart and soul of these communities. And I know that there's a lot of applauding for the medical staff and things, which I think is a really good thing to do. But what about all the young kids that are working, 8-hour shifts in all the supermarkets and things? I think it's really important to recognise just what they're doing. Our fella on the corner here, they're really important key members of the community, and they're doing a fantastic job. And
we need them. We do need them to keep going, to be supplying the local communities, don't we?
Yeah, they're absolutely essential, and not just these corner shops, but the supermarkets as well. Young guys and girls that are working in the supermarkets all day, and probably really a little bit unsung, I think. And then the street cleaners, and but it's very easy to sort of just thank those that are working for the government, for big corporations, and forget, the baker below us who's every day baking bread and putting it out there for everybody, and he's putting up little barriers, trying to keep everything as sanitary and as clean as possible. And
not only that, he's losing trade because his little guys who go out with the Simmets, they aren't going out every day now, so he's had to half quarter his
they've had to reduce, because normally our little baker below us is a real sort of hive of industry, and there are at least 15 or so Simmet sellers, like street sellers, that come to the bakery here, and they pile really high with bread, the Simmet, the round
like bagels,
like a bagel, like a Turkish bagel covered in sesame seeds. You've seen them. If you're not following us on Instagram and Facebook. You really should, because you'll see photographs of what beautiful foods we have here in Turkey. But none of those guys, none of them are actually operating at the moment. So all of the little trolleys are locked up outside
all down
our
below
apartment.
us.
So he's had to reduce, but he's still there, baking every day. These are the sort of unsung heroes, the people that are really doing a good job. And I suppose, you know, in almost every way there are people, there are YouTubers creating content as well. We should thank
They're
not
entertaining
us,
us.
but other YouTubers. And now I'm starting to blow my own trumpet. But look at all the people out there that we follow that are actually still producing content and probably scraping by to produce content just to keep everybody entertained. It's really good.
And it gives them something to do as well. You know, we're in an apartment with not a lot of other things to do inside this apartment. There's no crafting or art stuff, supplies in the apartment, is there? So
no, we can't. I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, you can make jigsaw puzzles or make little arts and crafts or learn to play an instrument. I haven't even got my guitar with me. I'm greatly missing not having a guitar or a ukulele. But yeah, you can't. When you're in an Airbnb, when you arrive in these places, they are empty. You know, it's only what you bring into them. So there's nothing here for us really to do other than to try and sort of entertain ourselves with chatting and
even the cooking and that, we can't really do much cooking. We've got no oven, which is not a major issue, but there's no extra ingredients or anything. We happen to go.
No, we haven't got the the usual dry goods and cans and stuff going back in our larders.
So what can we make today with what's in the cupboard?
We can only make what we bought yesterday, and that's pretty much the way we're going. Not complaining.
No.
We're having superb food. I'm probably, if anything, overeating. We've got to watch that we don't keep snacking. So that's our stories. I still love to hear what's happening with all the regular viewers from the channel. Let us know, your predicaments, the good things that are happening. The bad things as well, but it's always nice to have some uplifting stories.
Just saw a basket go out of a young girl. She had like a plastic bucket.
Michelle just, you would have heard it. So it's just saying there was a basket going out. I'll put a clip up, if I haven't done already, of somebody, just one of our neighbours, dropping their basket down, so you know what I mean. Would this have happened? It definitely didn't happen in Australia, because pretty much the buildings in Australia are single story, almost to no exception, so there would never have been that. Is anyone else, do any other cities around the world that maybe where you live, where they drop baskets down? We didn't see it in Sicily when we were there.
No.
We didn't see it in any parts of Italy that I can recall.
And I think it happened here anyway. It's maybe happening a little bit more now, but I think it was happening, the older people.
Oh, no, it's nothing to do with the lockdown. Sorry, Eva, if I've made it feel like it's to do with this is commonplace. This happened when we first arrived. When there was no mention of the coronavirus when we first arrived, and it was happening for the week or so up to that. Now this is common, and everybody has their length of rope, the right length for their building. No, I've spoken with one of the lads down here. This is commonplace shopping in Turkey.
And you order your takeaway or whatever gets delivered to the bottom of your apartment, and obviously let you know that you're there, and out goes the basket.
Out goes the basket. Goes
with the
down,
money.
With the money. So and they'll give change as well. I got a feeling with some of the smaller local shops, what they do is they probably run a tab for them, so they probably just deliver and keep a note, of what you owe. Because I don't always see money going down, although I might just be missing it. Well, I've said already the new mask wearing rules have come into place. It does trouble me a little bit, and I won't go on about that again. It does trouble me a little bit.
We're not in lockdown here. We can't leave Istanbul. They have quarantined the city, I suppose they call it. So you can't actually leave that.
I wouldn't want to anyway.
No,
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to be flying somewhere in a sort of great big sort of cigar cylinder.
No, I wasn't talking about that. Like there's a guy who works for this Airbnb, and he went home to his village, and then he can't come back because they've actually said you can't travel into or out of Istanbul.
Yeah, you can't go outside the city limits. You literally can't leave Istanbul to go to the next city without very good reason. So yes, one of the guys that works down here is track back home, but he's having quite a good time.
He's quite happy.
He lives in a town, maybe if anyone's from Turkey, they can tell us it's famous for vodka. And he's sending Instagram pictures or WhatsApp pictures of, having a glass of vodka and, I'm good, I'll see you when it's all over. So that's nice.
So yeah, not really any major changes here. Over 65s can't go out, under 20s can't go out.
No, just a greater awareness.
And then masks only to go into where people congregate, so supermarkets, markets, that sort of thing.
I'm still seeing problems with the masks. I see on the streets people handling them all the time. Even in one of the stores, I think I mentioned this in another video, but I'll say it again, where they put a glove on to serve me and then pulled the mask down to say something to somebody and then used that hand to, pick up the bits and pieces and pull the mask back up. And I'm thinking, everything you're touching with your hands and then putting up to your mask means that if that virus gets onto your mask and you wear it all day long and the next day, it's almost like a little place to incubate the virus. So what Michelle and I have been doing, I might be repeating myself here,
Maybe.
but when I bring my mask back at the end of the day, I'll sterilise it with boiling water. I'm not an overly cautious person, but it's because I think masks are not a good thing that I tend to do this. I'm more cautious of wearing a mask than I am not wearing a mask. And I really wish we could do live streams for you so we could interact. Maybe you can, throw a few more questions into these videos because we can't do a live stream. We did a
test one, didn't we?
We did a test one to ourselves. And on my phone or my laptop, it looks really good because it's obviously only just the picture's going from me to me, but when we played it back, it was just big cubes. It was
really bad, worst we've ever seen
it.
Yeah.
So we're getting
you weren't moving, so you were actually still, weren't you? So
yeah, literally there was nothing, no, not having to worry about. I don't want to get too technical, but the bit rates, the less you move, the better the scene. But it was just like a sort of Lego scene. It was so appalling. So we can't do the live streams at the moment, so we're not getting that nice interaction. I wish I could see questions coming from you. So throw your questions in there and maybe we can address them. We'll make a little note and we can talk about them in the next video. So there you have it. Ben, thanks again for reminding me this morning about getting on and doing a round table. We took you out for a little walk, not too far. Share your stories with us. And that's about it, really, from us.
Stay safe, stay positive.
Stay safe, stay happy, stay positive. Don't let this bring out the worst in you. Let it bring out the best in you. Love to you all. Take care. Michelle and I will see you. We're trying to put a video up every second day again as we were before, so we will see you very shortly. Be good.